Listening to music is one of the most popular forms of entertainment we have at our disposal today. Music streaming services are abundant and have made all forms of music more affordable and readily available than ever. Think of Spotify, Tidal, Primephonic, Amazon Music, Deezer, YouTube Music, and many other streaming services. They can cost 10, 15, 20, sometimes £25 per month. And with that, you gain access to an almost unlimited library of music that you can explore at your own time and will. Streaming services, of course, are a luxury of the modern era. Before that, people used to rely on CDs in order to enjoy music. And even before that, there were vinyl records. The invention of sound recording dates back to the 19th century, and it's commonly attributed to Thomas Edison. Since then, in addition to the audio formats we've already mentioned, people have been able to enjoy music on compact cassette, 8-track tape, floppy disk, or simply through the radio. And of course, who can forget that time in recent history when, for a number of years, illegal MP3 downloading sadly became the most dominant way to access music in the world. However, despite the fact that recorded music is a relatively recent accomplishment in human history, we are nonetheless able to enjoy music from several centuries ago. Think of some of the greatest composers such as Monteverdi, Vivaldi, Bach, Handel, Mozart, Beethoven, and so many others. Their music is still making an impact today, even though they didn't have a way to record it. How's that even possible? Well, thanks to music sheet, of course. They left us all these handwritten pieces of paper with musical notation that indicates the notes, pitches, rhythms, chords, and essentially everything about how their compositions should be played and sound like. So, thanks to musical notation, we can travel back in time and replicate music that was being created a long time ago, which makes some of us wonder, how far back in time can we go? Just a few centuries? 1,000 years? Is there a way for us to know whatever people were listening to in ancient Greece? Western music, as we call it, the medium by which virtually all music on earth is now conceived, is in fact a mix of different strands of music, such as Egyptian, Persian, Greek, Celtic, Norse, and Roman. Here's an interesting fact. Over the years, archaeologists have discovered several ancient instruments. Some are believed to have been created more than 40,000 years ago. For example, in 1995, a flute made of bear bone has been found in a Slovenian cave, which was roughly dated at the year 41,000 before Christ. Even more impressive was a discovery made in May 2012, when flutes made of mammoth ivory and bird bones were discovered in southern Germany. They dated roughly between 42 and 43,000 before Christ. But even though we have access to all these artifacts, which proves that music has existed for thousands of years, we have no idea how their music actually sounded like. In fact, we also don't know how it sounded in ancient Greece or during the Roman Empire. Yes, we have found some of the instruments, but we have no idea how the musicians of that time used them, simply because there is no record of that. Songs were presumably learned and played by memory. They didn't need musical notation back then. That actually came into existence just more or less 1,000 years ago, when a man named Guido of Arezzo, who trained singers for his cathedral choir, decided to create a method of notation that you could read and turn into singing at sight. He probably couldn't have imagined the revolution his invention was about to start. But the reality is, it changed everything. Music could now be written down and read, and musicians no longer had to rely solely on their memory. They could play or sing a song by looking at a sheet of paper. Thanks to that, there was now room to create more intricate and complex pieces of music. A long story of new musical innovations, century after century, until we reach the point we're at today. The era of music streaming, 1,000 years later.